Agent on the, yeah.
What is good, ladies and gentlemen? It's your boy RumboyzRobbie. That is TDS Taco. And together, we are the Goal Line Goons. What is going on? Cheers to me. Cheers to you, all the Rum Boys and girls. What it do? Dilly dilly. Welcome, welcome. It is episode 45, season 3, week 15 of the 2025 NFL season. And my goodness, it's playoff time. It's playoff time. So if you there are some leagues that I didn't get in. There are a lot that I did get in. A lot of that was because it was already predetermined. There was nothing that was going to stop me from having those spots. I did miss the 4-way tie to get into 6 by ending in 7th. Fucking hurts. Just like a couple of points shy. But we do have a lot that we have to go over, a lot that we have to get ready for. I know that a lot of you are getting ready to go in and set your waivers for the night. So we will get into that if you are needing waivers. I am going to preface this like just to start us off. It is scraping the barrel at this point. For the most part, I am hoping that your rosters are pretty much for the most part set. Like at this point, I'm hoping that obviously they are set, but I'm hoping that, for the most part, we're just trying to help navigate you through the muddy waters. We're going to dive right into the injuries, but first, Taco, how was your fantasy weekend? You're on mute.
I would say it's a little bit rougher than I had wanted it to be. Them Hampton shares feel a little bit muddied watered with I would say as much use for Vidal as we saw. I couldn't say it's not expected, but it definitely tempers expectations, and those Drake London stocks don't feel really good right now either. So kind of going into the playoffs as a wounded warrior.
Yeah, one with the whole Drake London thing. It's you're banking on a offense that's not in position to really do much, and then also, I mean, yeah, it's rough out there. It's just rough out there.
Yeah, and he was on such a streak before he got hurt. Such a streak. That's what kills it, man. He was performing as the top wide receiver for almost 4 of the last 5 weeks he had played or something like that. But that's fantasy playoffs for you, bro. Guys that got you there are not the guys that are going to carry you over the hump. And we have a couple of guys that we're going to talk about today that, we thought would be there to lean on. But we ain't going to lean on them.
No, you shouldn't be thinking that anyone is going to be there to lean on in fantasy. All is fair in love and fantasy.
No,
we did begin the season with stating that your roster that you drafted was not going to be the roster that you had at the end. So we did set expectations, and that was a theme of the whole entire season. Was the whole temper expectations thing. So maybe for you. Maybe for you, I've been following the same narrative, the same train that we've been putting out. Let's get into the injuries. Daniel Jones out with an Achilles. He is going to miss the remainder of the season, possibly even the next 9-ish months. They're going to be bringing back Pipe Rivers. They're going to be bringing out Felipe. So we'll be talking about that a little bit later. Jaden Daniels won't be coming back the rest of the season with a elbow injury. He should have never been put out there in the first place. So no Jaden Daniels. Tyrod Taylor with a growing Geno Smith with a shoulder. This week just took out quarterbacks. This week it was just quarterbacks. We had like a similar week like this earlier in the beginning of the season too. Achan ribs. He should still be able to play through things. Should be good to go, but we'll be discussing how to approach things with possibly maybe grabbing Jalen Wright. Zach Ertz, ACL, season-ending, career-ending. CeeDee Lamb, concussion, likely not to play. He probably not going to clear concussion protocol.
What? I thought it was trending good.
We've seen how
Don't
this
scare me.
We've seen how this.
Oh my god!
You need to be preparing.
Fuck.
You need to be preparing for what the concussion protocol of the NFL.
Fuck.
Roma Dunze foot. The Roma Dunze one is interesting because it sounds like that this is possibly what has been hampering him. Like for like this pretty much like the second half of the season, it was maybe as caused like some of the regression. And it's just one of those things that he's kind of been playing through. And then finally it's just reached a point to where the ligament in the foot has just kind of given. That does come at detriment with playing through injuries, especially, for some of these teams that where they are fighting to, maintain, top position or were fighting to maintain top position in their division. So, yeah, Taco, thoughts on injuries?
You got my mind totally blown with CeeDee Lamb possibly not playing. I thought we were gonna be good, man. Season keeps getting worse.
You have to plan for the worst with it. With CeeDee Lamb, it is a concussion, so you need to be prepared for okay. Like right now, they have him listed as out. Like they're
oh my
saying
god!
right now,
if I don't have CeeDee Lamb and Drake going into the first round,
they're saying there's no setbacks, but that is also the Joneses that are putting out that narrative. We have to remember what the concussion protocol is for the NFL. It is a 10-day thing. And anytime that you hear concussion, you should automatically prepare. Okay, I'm not having that player the next week.
No. Oh my god.
I don't know why.
I thought he'd be back. I thought that he was down early enough. I thought he'd be back. Fuck. I really thought CD would be back.
Like I said, I mean, he's meeting all thresholds. There's a chance that he could play. But again, the concussion protocol is concussion protocol.
He has to
The
get
Joneses
a full
are
practice.
reporting that so far there's no setbacks, but that could also just be talk for
people like me.
No, just because Dallas is Dallas's media machine. That's just what that is. That's just how Dallas's media machine operates. At the end of the day, the concussion protocol is a concussion protocol.
I mean, shit, they've been calling whatchamacallit day to day or week to week for like 3 weeks now too, Drake London. And you saw the same thing with Ricky Pierce. It's standard operating procedure in the NFL. They're gonna make sure that they give you as little real information as possible. They're gonna keep it as vague as possible. So this way, when other teams are preparing,
concussions are usually pretty clear cut because the concussion took place on a Thursday. That's what kind of allows a little bit of the leeway to where maybe he could play, but typically that is not something that we see often in these scenarios. Other than that, I mean, a lot of these injuries. A lot of these injuries. I mean, the Daniel Jones one definitely hurts. This is where it would have paid off. Like we said earlier in the season, when we were talking about guys like having Sam Darnold. Like the last couple weeks, we've been talking about, hey, maybe you need to be looking at grabbing a Trevor Lawrence, because we started talking about preparing for the fact that you may not just be able to go and dumpster dive or waiver wire dive, because there's a lot more risk that's packaged into that versus just already being prepared for when these situations arise. Anything else that you want to add?
it's going to be interesting to see what happens also with Trey Benson. Doesn't look like he's going to get activated, and Bam Knight might have a clear path towards playoff relevancy.
There's that you should have been giving up on the Trey Benson thing. I haven't brought it up Trey Benson in forever now. I mean, after they've already, kind of said, hey, yeah, Kyler's not coming back this year, I would expect they'd probably do the same thing with Benson. So you're in the playoffs now. You've made it this far without it. I don't know what you're like, it's a playoff, so you should be focusing on playoffs. Trey Benson hasn't gotten you here, hasn't been a guy that's been mentioned.
I think that when we look at
that train's been left the station. That train's been left the station.
We look at that from a dual perspective, though. One is obviously this is a guy that we were stashing and hoping, especially once his window opened up and he started that practice, that we thought that we would have a chance at him. But on the converse, and Bam Knight is going to be someone that could be pretty relevant for your teams from a volume perspective.
Well, we haven't brought this man up in how many show sheets?
Knight? Yeah.
No, not even. I'm talking about Benson. Like
2 weeks, maybe.
No,
because I talked about him when his window opened. I know I've been talking.
He's never been. Yeah, he hasn't been. We talked about like when his window opened and that was it, and I was like a blip on the radar.
Well, that's pretty much official. I think he has till like Thursday or Friday. Otherwise, he's not activated for the year.
It is the fantasy playoffs. With that being stated, no bye weeks. Finally, officially, waiver wire ads. Okay, heading into week 15 by percentage own. This one is a quick list because, again, like I mentioned, you're scraping the barrel. I would hope that by speaking to more of an audience that is focused on competing in the playoffs, you have things a little bit more together. Okay. But coming off of last week, some waiver wire ads that you may want to look at. Shador had a amazing week last week. I know that there are a fuck ton of Shador haters, and that's what just honestly makes it so good about bringing him up is that there is so many Shador Sanders haters. He's 8% rostered. Is he going to be a league winner? No. I mean, honestly, is the way that this season has played out, anything can happen. He went for 364 and a total of 4 TDs, 3 of them through the air and 1 on the ground.
And I feel like this year we've seen a lot of pedestrian play from quarterbacks across the league where they're just not that great. You're losing guys like Daniel Jones, who carried a lot of teams towards playoff success with his consistent performances. So as crazy as it sounds, it's not outside the realm of possibility of him being fantasy relevant. We see it every single year. Guys that didn't get a chance to play throughout the beginning of the year, getting opportunities near the end, whether it be through injuries or through just talent, and they end up delivering for us. So I agree, more than likely not, but I wouldn't close the book on that opportunity because he has something to prove. And, you give a man a chip on his shoulder and a lot can accomplish, and they can accomplish a lot, excuse me.
Stefanski absolutely is a terrorist. I absolutely do agree there. That is one of the things that is
how do you take him out for that 2-point conversion? That is like so fucked, bro.
Stefanski's a terrorist because Stefanski's a terrorist.
Bro, like literally you're writing the illest narrative and you're like, and we're gonna take a page out of Pete Carroll's playbook and Marshawn Lynch. You are not gonna get the ball. We're gonna throw it Russell Wilson at the 1. Like, that's what that was. That was just like fucking all-time level bad. Like all like
that
was
just pettiness, and that was Stefanski being Stefanski.
That's
like
all
type shit.
Bad, bro.
Mariota, we have seen Mariota a couple of times this season. He is playing against the Giants. The Giants do allow the 7th most fantasy points to opposing quarterbacks. That is the only reason why he is on this list. I'll actually just couple in Chris Rodriguez in with that as well because it's the same stat as to why he is on the list. Even last week on just a handful of carries, had about 50-some yards. They obviously had to abandon the run, so it's obvious that he'll be getting some burn. So those two kind of coupling in together. Tyler Shock only rostered 1%. I think it's more so just because no one wants to roster a New Orleans Saint. He has been coming along down the stretch. He has been coming along down the stretch. I do understand the public fading though, just due to the fact of the offense and everything of what's attached. The fact that it is still a rookie. You're in the playoffs. You probably would want to go with something a little bit more surefire. But again, like I referenced to begin this segment, we're scraping the barrel. Getting into running backs, I kind of already just threw out Chris Rodriguez out there, but getting into running backs, Blake Corum keeps ending up on this list, but it does seem like many of you got the hint after last week because he went from 15% last week all the way up to 30% this week. So good job, those of you that went out there and got Blake Corum. I don't give a damn what your bench looks like in regards to, the fantasy playoffs, heading into the fantasy playoffs. You need to have your handcuffs because players are dropping week in, week out. And one thing that you cannot predict is injuries. But one thing you can do is be prepared to combat those injuries, especially at the running back position here in 2025. I cannot preach this enough. By the way, Corum and Williams, it sounds like the Rams are going to be resting Kyren. Like they're still going to be playing Kyren. There's going to be the more of a timeshare heading into the playoffs because they want Kyren ready for the playoffs. So Corum is startable, even if you just throw him into your flex spot in fantasy leagues. Just throwing that out there because he is, even with Kyren out there, he is getting double-digit touches and being efficient, and he's fighting the end zone.
I'm gonna have a decision between Chris Rodriguez and Blake Corum.
It's Corum. It's Corum. It's Corum. You're going with the more high octane offense, more high powered offense. You're going with the more consistent scorer. You're going with the healthier offensive line. You're going with the all around better concept. You're going with the team that has more chemistry together on field, on paper. There's that one's an easy one. Let's see here. Jalen Wright. I brought this up because Miami could be resting Achane this week.
Oh, please.
It is interesting how that one could play out, being that it is a rib injury. With running backs, it's usually not as simple as just throwing on a rib protector and then like going out there for, a whole 60-minute car crash. They are playing Pittsburgh. Miami is, believe it or not, in the hunt. This does give them an opportunity to possibly in that race, even leapfrog even more than the Chiefs and even really, get the Chiefs out of contention because the Chiefs are already eliminated from divisional contention. So, I mean, this could be a chance for Miami. We'll see how this one plays out. But, I mean, there was an MRI that revealed that it was a rib injury. So, we'll wait and see. Devin Singletary. Devin Singletary is going up against a very porous Washington defense, a Washington defense that nobody, and I mean to tell you absolutely fucking nobody, is healthy. Everything is banged up. In a game to where, yes, New York could easily just be like, fuck it, we're going to pass because the secondary is trash. They could easily just keep it on the ground as well. So I expect Singletary to get some work. I like Singletary this week. Before we get into wide receivers, anything that you want to add with the running backs?
No, it's a shitty show out there right now. You got to make do with what you got.
Agreed. Receivers. Jaden Higgins has been on the radar for the last like 4-ish weeks. Really need to go and get him, especially with the Texans looking to lock in playoff hopes. They're going to be needing every single target that they can out there on the field. Higgins is starting to become the go-to guy for CJ Stroud. Um, I get that against KC, it was a 6-point week, but the week before that, the 2 weeks before that, week 12 against Buffalo, he had 13. Week 13, he had 11. So it's looking like a floor is building here. And what's really important in the fantasy playoffs sometimes isn't necessarily those week in, week outs, those boomer busts. Sometimes it's just a fucking safe floor, especially in flex spots. So I do like Jaden Higgins as one of those guys where, hey, if I'm just needing a solid 10, 11 points to get me over the fucking hump against my competitor, I'm actually liking what I can do where I can slide him in, even especially as like a flex play. They take on Arizona, Vegas, Chargers, Indy these next couple of weeks. So I'm liking Jaden Higgins, especially over the course of these next 2 for damn sure. Ryan Flournoy, with Higgins potentially being out, we've seen that not with Higgins, I'm sorry, with CeeDee Lamb potentially being out, we've seen that any and every single time that it's, time for the go-to, or I'm sorry, for a 2 to step up. We see that Pickens becomes the 1, and now Flournoy steps in and becomes a 2. I've seen this recipe before. I don't need to, kind of argue against it. I saw enough of it last week, for Dallas when they were playing from behind and Flournoy became a prime target with CeeDee Lamb going out. I'm actually liking this play here, and he's only he's an easy grab. Nobody has him. 1%. Luther Burden. Caleb's going to have to get the ball somewhere. There's no more Roma Dunze, and it's like he was really getting it to Roma Dunze before, but, DJ Moore's not going to be able to do everything. Colson Loveland, I understand, has been trying to command a lion's share of the targets, but I'm really liking Luther Burden heading down in the stretch with Roma Dunze possibly being out for the rest of the season.
I'm not going to lie. Luther Burden is very interesting to me and someone that I'm actually going to be putting in a waiver claim for, because much like what you're saying, that ball is going to have to go somewhere, and he's shown enough flashes where if we're going to take a risk, we take a risk with talent.
Yeah. If you're going to take a risk, take one with talent. That one's interesting just because, I probably would maybe like, it's interesting just because of the ball distribution, and such with Chicago.
I have because of the injuries, I'm reduced down to Boudier or Malik Washington. So when I look at a guy like Luther Burden, bro, it's been rough out here. So when I look at Luther Burden, I'm like, shit, man, he looks really appealing, all things considered.
Okay. Jaden Reed, 40% available. I know what you're thinking. It's like, but Christian Watson's taking over. Shout out to him for having 2 touchdowns last week. I do still, with this Packers offense, I feel like I just want a piece of it. I feel like I just want, something of it, just because the ball is absolutely having to go somewhere, and sometimes everyone is getting a shot and everyone is being efficient with their touches and with their opportunities. He had 9 points against Chicago last week when on his return he was 4 of 4 for 31. So only things missing there is probably like a little bit extra yak, and we'd be definitely having a bigger conversation about Jaden Reed this week. Anything else you want to add with the receivers?
No, I think receiver is going to be a position where hopefully you got your guys early, because right now it's just shooting fish in a barrel.
Agreed. I as soon as I get off air, I'm so fucking fixing that shit. It just started earlier, and it's fucking annoying the hell out of me. I'm black. I ain't that kind of black. Fuck. We only have 2 tight ends that I'm gonna be throwing out this week. Really quick with that Jaden Reed thing. That's one of those receivers that I also like for you to be able to block, for anyone else to be able to use down the stretch, just because Your championship weeks are going to be Baltimore, Minnesota. You know, you want to keep them away from those defenses where people are kind of fucking picking apart, and aren't going to really have a whole lot to play for down the stretch. Isaiah Likely, 8%. That should have been a touchdown last week. That should have been a touchdown. And I'll gladly go on record and admit that. Still had 12.5 fantasy points. Has had back-to-back double-digit fantasy weeks. Should have been a touchdown. Ravens were absolutely robbed. Ravens were absolutely robbed. With that said, I'm liking, you got Cincinnati, New England, coming up next, Green Bay pick these last 4 weeks. Lamar's still going to go out there and try and prove something, and he's going to need Isaiah Likely to be able to do it. And they're going to have to try and figure out what that offense is going to look like next year. So the only way to do it is go out there and fucking play football. So, there's that. And then Theo Johnson, 40%. Again, Washington's secondary is awful. I wholeheartedly expect Theo Johnson to have a big week this week. I expect Theo Johnson to get his shit off. When you play bad defenses, everyone should hopefully kind of get the ball. But at the same time, we also have to take into consideration that it's still the Washington Commanders and it's still the New York Giants. So this game could also be very ugly.
Yeah, but I'll say this. I wish you guys the best of luck, and I hope you win.
No, please. No. Hey.
No. I really think that it'll be good for your morale.
Oh, man. No. You're good. You're good, man. Hey, draft season. Other than that, did you see that Felipe Rivers is coming back?
I mean, it's a practice squad for now, but yeah, it's pretty interesting. I think it's pretty cool to see that they have gone back in time. I think he has a real familiarity with the offensive coordinator's game plan. So I don't know if maybe he's there to teach the kid and help him come along as fast as possible.
No, there's a very real chance that he is going to start this week.
That would be very interesting. That'd be very interesting.
I don't think that Leonard has what it takes to lead the team through playoff football.
I think you got to see what that kid has before you put Rivers in.
I don't think that you can afford that in week 15 at the end. If this was early in the season, I'd be like, oh yeah, fuck it, let Leonard spin. I think the Colts would probably take that approach too. It's week 15. They just lost Daniel Jones. They have playoff hopes. They have Super Bowl hopes. You need to try and get a patch job going. It can't. This isn't a time to deploy a quarterback development project. It's not the time. It's just not the time.
But you can't go in and fucking think that Phillip Rivers is going to be the answer. You can't be serious.
He's not going to be the answer. He's not going to be the answer, but he's going to be better for you. You're going to be better off than being like, hey, rookie. Yo, that shit is wild. Like, no.
We did see Carson Wentz, who obviously isn't as old, but he did come through on a similar way. Older quarterback, seemingly at the end, just really delivering for the Vikings. So, maybe you can get him for a 5-week stretch and just use the last bit of football he has, and hopefully he gets that.
It won't be the same thing. It won't be the same thing. This is going to end very ugly for Indianapolis. This is going to be one of those. It was fun while it lasted. This is Indianapolis's last-ditch effort, and it also Phillip Rivers' last-ditch effort to be like, all right, y'all are in the playoff, seat. Let me try and come in, see what I can do. I'm familiar with things. All right, yeah. Like it's a last-ditch effort for both. But I mean, like, No, Phillip is definitely not doing any better than Aaron Rodgers. But again, there's also going to be that cerebral from the head up understanding of how the offense works. Uh, who knows? Maybe this completely crashes and burns quick enough to where they're like, you know what,
I'm not
Leonard,
gonna lie though, that is completely underrated in today's game. That cerebral understanding of the game. So maybe I'm downplaying his impact more than I should, because he is able to read, react, and understand. But the question is how fast is the game to him? Because these young boys out there are, I would say, defense is better than it's ever been. Between all the tape that they have and all the athletes that are playing on that side of the ball, and I think that is contributing to why offense around the league is down. Coupled with, like I said, the intellectual part of
Also, you can't play Leonard right now because PCL sprain.
Oof. So yeah, it's gonna be interesting. Maybe Rivers is something more than we thought.
So like even if he was healthy, or I'm sorry, even if yeah, so like you had to bring in Rivers, you had to bring in somebody because otherwise Tyler
Yeah.
Warren was because Tyler Warren was the emergency QB after Leonard.
Although that might have been nice for fantasy. You know what I mean? Like all of a sudden, he's rushing the ball a little bit more, throwing a couple little lobbies.
That would be absolutely just that is the redo of when we lost like every fucking Niners quarterback. You got CMC and Kittle out there trying to like get shit done. Oh my god, that was a travesty. Oh, I
Yo, could you
remember that.
imagine the numbers Taylor and Warren could put up? Oh my god. Oh my god. Just maybe that's what we're really hoping for. Oh, because I got Tyler Warren in a few leagues. Oh god, that sounds sexy actually.
No, hold on. Oh, by the way, Philip Rivers is only the second ever official grandfather to play in the league. Brett Favre was a grandfather while starting and playing in the league.
That shit is nuts, bro. That shit
Yes.
is nuts.
Hold up. Let me go to the Tyler Warren emergency QB joint because I did have that. I got to find it. Okay, no. Brett Ripon was on the practice squad at the time of the injury, which is what would have made Tyler Warren the emergency QB behind Leonard. That was during in game. That was because Ripon was not suited up yet, and we all know they ain't gonna fucking throw Ripon out there.
No. And
Let's
they're in such a and what sucks even more for the Colts as an organization is that they made that trade for Sauce thinking that they were gonna be something. Now that first round pick is sliding into some very nice territory for the Jets.
Ripon is not good. Anytime that the Ripon has gotten to fill in or play, he has thrown nothing but fucking picks. It has been bad. It has been on some Nathan Peterman type shit.
Oh, Peterman.
Yeah, I remember that. Yeah.
Didn't Gruden have a hard on for him?
Yeah, Gruden really did. Really did. Let me just bro, the Philip Rivers shit is absolutely insane.
Bro, that shit's a movie. Like that shit's gonna be a fucking Hulu made for TV movie in like about 2 months.
Did you know Jalen Hurts is the first player to ever turn the ball over twice in one play?
Yeah, that was kind of fucking hilarious.
That shit, bro. I was on my deathbed last night, sick as a dog, watching that game. Just like, oh my gosh.
I feel bad for fucking some of those fucking people that were starting him, bro. Because like you probably needed like a decent game from him, and you're watching him do that, bro. Like you have to like rethink life and shit at that point.
Since the merger, only 2 quarterbacks have thrown for exactly 364 yards in their third career NFL start. Guess who they are?
Who?
Brady and Shador.
Oh yeah, bro. They really try to fuck this boy. They really try to fuck this boy. Because there is no fucking way you see the way he's playing and you're like, he's a 5th round quarterback? What? Like, how the fuck? It's malpractice that the Steelers didn't fucking get him. Fucking practice. But I get it. Everybody's afraid of the attitude. But
What do you I think that honestly it was a representation. I mean, I said it then during draft day. It was a representation of the NFL being the, you be a good little boy, listen here now type of, vibes.
100%. Like, there's
Yep.
no other way you could view it.
Like straight up. And it's all right. It's okay. He's finding ways to turn it around. I don't think that Stefanski's gonna probably be there for like very long. I think that the Browns will eventually be like we'll see enough of Shador doing good, and they'll be like, "Fuck, we actually need to elevate this kid and get the best out of this kid, like while we actually can." Like, I think that'll probably happen. Um, it's not. Believe me, it's not. It's not about like everyone's like, oh well, like the NFL, did it to try and humble Shador or whatever. No, it's no. You want your shut up in color, be a good little boy, and sometimes that just don't fucking work. Sometimes that don't go out there and get the job done, especially when we're talking about a sport like fucking football. Sometimes you need to have somebody that'll go out there and grab the situation by the fucking horns and be like, all right, let's go out there and let's fucking win. Especially when you're Cleveland. That was Cleveland's issue with Baker. Why they didn't like Baker. But you know what? Look at what Baker is doing. Look at what Baker has done. Baker is having an amazing fucking career. And honestly, most people don't really remember the Cleveland days of Baker. People will not regard when Baker retires, no one is going to associate Baker with his time in Cleveland. All the players that go to Cleveland and then eventually leave and then go and do better, they don't get associated with Cleveland. So I mean, it'll be interesting to kind of see what happens. I think that there's going to be a culture clash, between the two. I think that fans and media are going to have a lot that are going to clamor for it, because it already seems like whenever anytime I scroll like social media and like I hear, like I because like shout out to the homie Jamie. He's sent me clips, and because like I'm friends with him, sometimes like Cleveland Browns stuff. I have like a couple of different followers that are Cleveland Browns fans. Sometimes like some of like their radio stuff like pops up on my news feed, and just scrolling like listening to them. These people have a good understanding, I feel, of the inside of the locker room, of what may be happening and how things may be going. I mean, and to your point earlier at the beginning, at the top of the hour, no, there's no reason why you pull them out. But like I said during that stream, Sunday, it's like we have to understand that Stefanski's going to Stefanski at the end of the fucking day. When Lisa's is talking about the arrogance of the player, but also what about the arrogance of the coach? What about the arrogance of the organization? Sometimes you have to you have to look within yourself as a leader and be like, and what I'm doing is what I'm doing right, and what I'm doing best for the situation. No offense, but Cleveland is like the ugly girl, at fucking prom, like, the wallflowers, like, bro, you don't really get to be choosy. You better dance with the motherfucker that just walked up and asked, like, yo, if you want to dance, like, you don't get to be choosy. Like, like, you're not the baddest in the ball. Cleveland doesn't get to be choosy. So for Cleveland of all organizations to act in the manner that they have, I mean, it's been fucking malpractice, like in the words of Taco.
I just like to add the club going up on a Tuesday. Bitch in the cut and she Tuesday. You don't remember that joint?
Wow.
When you talk about choosing,
I know
listen,
I get where you're going, but yeah.
yeah, and it's a Tuesday.
2 of 3 dinos in the dance here. Nice, Joss. Nice, nice. I don't I have like 7 leagues that I'm in the offs in. So like I have a lot of lineup setting I'm gonna be doing after we get off air tonight. Um that was a little cringe. That was a little cringe.
That's
But
what you
no,
did.
like for real though, yeah, that taking him out, at the last second, that shit was absolutely wild.
Yeah.
Um Other than that, things that every NFL fan must accept. Week 14 edition. Mike McDaniel is saving his damn job down there in Miami.
I think that and I was on the record about this. I don't think that they let Tua go this year. I think Tua and McDaniel stay one more year just because of the contract that he signed. There's so much dead money. Like it's just so much dead money that it's like
I,
I'd rather give you one more chance than fucking pay you to not be here and then go pay someone to be worse than you.
I don't think that I think that after hate saying this. I don't hate saying this because I've said it before. After losing Tyreek Hill, that cleared out a lot of the fucking drama. So that allowed for the Miami team to kind of get together and get things together on the field and get the clicking as an offense to kind of focus on the pieces that were there, not just kind of focusing on Tyreek. That it kind of made things a little bit better for them. And I low key, just because of all like the shit that like Tyreek talked, I kind of want them to get into the dance just to have like an opportunity. We trust T and CD this weekend if they are cleared. If they're cleared, that is a big if they are cleared. We have to acknowledge what the NFL protocol is, and it's usually a 10-day process. So there's a high chance CD's a 50-50. T Higgins probably won't be cleared. But yeah, no, I do think that Mike McDaniel is saving his job, and I think that a lot of it, like if I'm the organization, I'm looking at, damn, you've done a lot better since this one piece isn't here, and we're probably not going to keep that one piece anyways, and we weren't probably going to keep them have even without the injury. So you know what? Why not we try and run it back and see what can happen? Um,
Especially because you'll be under contract anyway. So we're gonna
exactly,
pay you one way or another.
exactly. Hey, you never know. You never know. Like are the odds in their favor? Fuck no. But you never know. You never know. They are in the hunt right now, and you know,
They got
close
what the
each
same
other
odds as
out.
the Chiefs.
Yeah, they got about the same. Yeah.
Woo! What a fall from grace.
What a fucking fall from grace Kansas
And
City
Travis
was.
Kelsey's
But
final season. That's the way we get down. I
it's
like it.
Kelsey's final season. They're like he lat or Sunday he did not look the same. He just didn't look the same.
What he needs, like, he knows it's time, and he's just making sure he stays healthy,
Yeah.
not doing anything crazy. His days of being a
He can
playmaker
go
are
and do
over.
movies. That's the thing. Like I don't like when people are like, "Well, what is he gonna do without football?" I'm like, "Did you not watch
He got a
fucking?"
podcast.
He's got a
He got.
podcast. He has a
I mean,
beer.
shit. You know what's gonna happen? He's gonna go and get Taylor pregnant. Like,
Like
it's gonna be a fucking storybook ending. We know this. Hollywood made that story.
exactly. He'll be fine. He'll be fine.
Yeah.
Um, Tyler Shock will be the Saints QB1 in 2026. I'm here
Uh,
for it.
I doubt it. I don't think he's good enough. I think that what we're seeing right now is just a guy that's able to run, being fantasy relevant, and more than likely they'll probably end up with like one of the top 2 picks, which will allow them to take Mendoza, and he will be either a Saint or a Raider. I know that the Giants are going to win probably two of these games to fuck up our position.
Mendoza is a Raider, just like Mendoza's personality. It It's like if Tebow was a Raider, it'd be like I don't know, man. I mean, but then again, Tebow was a Gator with all those like drug dealers and murderers. So
Yeah, he was with Aaron Hernandez and shit.
exactly, yeah, that's what I'm saying. He
You
was
know,
on a thing full of psychopaths.
low key, that's the dude in the locker room that should be like, white boy gangsters, fuck.
Yep. It's like, yeah, he may, go,
He may be Wonder Bread, but you know what? I can
exactly,
fuck
yeah.
with it.
No, I kind of like the Mendoza a Raider take. I saw a post today that it had Mendoza edited into a Raiders jersey. He is not white. He's Mexican, right? Yeah.
Oh, that's gonna be even better, bro. The Vatos are gonna fucking love him.
Oh, they're gonna fucking love it. I don't know. Shock being the Saints QB1.
I mean, bro, I'm not gonna lie.
The Saints have so many other problems to worry about that, like, I don't know if they're ready to like go in on QB yet. So I think that they use Shock for like a couple of years. Like, and they try and build the other pieces and build the other architect with cheap fucking money. I think they try and do it as cheap as possible. And then once those pieces are in, and when it's time to probably like they have to like pony up some money for a quarterback, they either A, get an old ass veteran, or B, that's when they draft one on rookie contract. But I think they try and build everything else first. Kyler Tanola, that
I mean, this is a Tom Brady aligned franchise, so I think it really depends on how the QB
what do you mean Tom Brady
can impress.
It's not a Tom Brady aligned franchise. You talk.
Doesn't he have part ownership of the Raiders?
He has part ownership of the Raiders. We're talking about the Saints.
Oh, right. Well, you're talking about Mendoza. I think he ends up as a Raider.
No, you brought that into the conversation. Read the show sheet of what the topic is.
Yeah, Taylor Shuck is not the quarterback next year.
Pete Carroll and Geno Smith are one and done. I think Geno's the one and done. I don't think that Pete Carroll is.
I think it's too much money on Geno's contract to just cash him out after this year. I think you probably keep him on as either a backup or a transition type quarterback, a bridge. And you know, like I said, they're making that move for Mendoza or something like that. They need a quarterback. Or I could see them getting a Kyler Murray type to pair with Geno and let the dudes battle. But it makes more sense to keep him on the roster even as a backup than to just cut him for that amount of money.
I have Purdy and Nix as my QBs, Tyler Warren as my tight end. Should I drop Nix for Fannin?
Jesus Christ. How the mighty have fallen. Tyler Warren early
because he's worrying about Tyler Warren's share.
100%. I mean, you don't know what the hell you're gonna get. I mean, we joke, but low key, there's a chance we see some emergency quarterback.
Knicks has very tough defenses coming up. Green Bay, Jacksonville, Kansas City's is washed. And then the Chargers to close out the season.
He hasn't played that great. It's a run heavy team.
Yeah, I mean, I understand the worry. What other fat is there on that roster that we can trim to maybe we? Because I don't want to go into a situation where, oh shit, Purdy's injured, and now I can't get Bo Nix back like in the playoffs. Like if there's other fat that like we can trim off the roster.
But as crazy as it sounds, you would have been better off starting a guy like Jacoby Brissett over starting fucking Bo Nix. That's the wildness of the season that we're at. Just because I know it always comes down to the same factor, the volume that Brissett.
I'm thinking about him and his league.
No, right, but I'm saying like even if you drop Nix, you might be able to find a guy in the waiver wire. Shador Sanders pops out and is outperforming Nix. So I don't mind if I have to drop Knicks and find someone else.
I would want to keep things within context.
Yeah, I'm saying dropping Knicks is not a big deal.
JB5, Lawrence, Rogers, McCarthy,
Yeah,
Cousins, Bryce, Tua, or Shador on
dropping
waivers.
Knicks is not a reason to not do it.
I would drop Knicks for Fannin, but if I have like absolutely without a shadow of a doubt on my bench someone that I know for a fact that is probably never gonna sniff a starting spot, I'm trimming that fat first because I
Yep.
don't want the situation of dropping Knicks, someone grabbing him, and then that being utilized against me later on because we don't want Knicks to go on this, oh shit, I have to now get on my Super Bowl run type shit, and then goes on his Super Bowl run type shit. 0.5 PPR, 2 wide receivers, and Buka, Michael Wilson. Yes. Well, okay. Here's the thing with Michael Wilson. All right. Michael Wilson only produces when there's no Marvin Harrison Jr. As long as there's no Marvin Harrison Jr., Michael Wilson abso-fucking-lutely.
Well,
All
he
right.
also has MHJ, so hopefully that
Yeah.
when one's down, the other one's
If
on.
there exactly. So that's the caveat with that. I would probably Sutton's been fucking going off lately. Like it's like they've forgotten that Troy Franklin is even there, and it's just purely been Sutton getting like the lion's share of the targets. Um,
Although with Nick's
it's against
performances
Green Bay.
lately, it's
It's
not a
against
lot.
Green Bay this week. It's against Green Bay this week. So I don't know. Sutton's still been fucking balling though. If
I don't
there's
think
no
there's no way you
MHJ, if
fixate
there's no MHJ, then I go Michael Wilson and Sutton.
and there's no way that you can pull Sutton out of your lineup, to be honest. And Buka has been a struggle over the last
Couple of weeks.
yeah. And a BTJ has yet to do anything worthy of
BTJ had to be
starting, so I would definitely say it's Wilson if there's no MHJ,
MHJ.
and it's Sutton. If MHJ comes back, that makes it worse for you. More than likely, I probably put Mbuka in over either one of the Cardinals receivers.
Yeah. At that point,
But
I'm playing Buka.
yeah, that's kind of the way I see that.
Bro, I don't even know if you see, I feel like Devo hasn't been great down the stretch. Like Devo has not been great down the stretch. So
I think that Devo is more valuable than Knicks when you see the guys that are on the waiver.
I mean, yeah, he's wide receiver 23 on the year. Yeah, drop Knicks and go ahead and grab him and grab Fannin. Just because I understand the scare of the quarterback situation with the Colts. Like, do I think that Phillip Rivers is going to be able to get the ball to Warren? That is something that I'm wanting to see before just jumping out on record and being like, fuck yeah, Phillip Rivers is going to be able to do it. Phillip Rivers could go out there and look completely like, hey, I have not done this in forever. But he could also go back out there. He could go out there and he could fucking torch shit.
And you know what? As best friend could be the tight end because you got to dump that shit down so much that you might see like 8 catches for 60 yards and a touchdown. But there's also
the ball still has to go somewhere.
There's also the weird possibility of them doing some gadgety shit with him to not for a long portion of the game, but maybe like 10% of the snaps. They might kind of do like a Wildcat or a Taysom Hill style offense and see what that looks like, which could equate to value. So it's really a wild card and a wide range of outcomes that we could see with Tyler Warren because of that wild card status of like that emergency QB.
Absolutely. I agree with that. No,
Because imagine Phillip Rivers gets hurt in game because he's so old and he pulls his back muscle.
Holy
now
fuck.
all of a sudden we're looking at a quarterback playing tight end.
Let's continue on with this segment. We're just about through. Shador Sanders is a franchise QB. As of right now, yes.
I mean, the Cleveland Browns have not looked great, and he's come out and seemingly with minimal practice been able to deliver, quite adequate results. And I think that he's playing his way into a undeniable situation where it's like you have to give him a shot, or
Yep.
he's gonna be like Baker and leave the Browns and go find a place to call home.
I'm gonna say this. Every time that he's stepped on the field, from even in preseason, the little bit of Shador that we got to see then, and then of course he had to return back to the bench, yada yada, kind of lit up the conversation then, and we kind of saw the Browns kind of, oh shit, like that just riled up, and caused a little bit of noise, and then and of course, we all remember the graphic where he held up the wrist, did a celebration, and it was in a preseason game, yada yada yada, but then he's also causing the conversation even when he's not on the field, and the conversation is about him getting on the field, but then he gets on the field and he's meeting expectations.
He's blowing past expectations.
Yeah.
Bro had no practice.
And then on top of that, when he's going out in the media and he's being questioned about his coach and his coach's decision, he's like, oh, come on, guys, like we're not doing this. We're not.
He's looking mature.
And he's looking more mature than the leadership that he's having to follow. I say yes, they do have a franchise quarterback. Do they want? You have to ask yourself, does Cleveland want to be in a position to have a franchise quarterback? Because every time that they have been in a position to mold and build someone to be that, or someone has wanted to take on that role of responsibility, they have thwarted that at every turn and opportunity. So it's a very interesting and compelling story, and it's the most coverage that Cleveland is going to get. Cleveland needs to soak this up.
They still have the masseuse, so and he's getting a big payday, so he might be the answer.
God, no. We already mentioned that Isaiah Likely's touchdown should have counted. The Colts will miss the playoffs.
Yes, because the Houston Texans are going to take their spot. That Houston defense is legit, and CJ Stroud is, while not completely back, I do feel like he's starting to find that magic that he had.
The remaining schedule makes it very easy to kiss that shit goodbye. You have Seattle's defense, San Francisco, Jaguars, Houston. You have 4 go and get it defenses that can take over games. So, I mean, yeah, Texans and Jags are getting hot at the right time and playing damn good team football. You lose your field general in Daniel Jones. No more Indiana Jones. I'm sorry, Indianapolis, your ship has sailed. It was fun while it lasted. Yeah. Michael Wilson is Arizona's wide receiver 1.
False. McBride is still the wide receiver 1. This guy's just making some plays.
One, I think that they're trying to utilize a tight end as their wide receiver 1 is probably not the recipe for success that they may want it to be. You need receivers. They need to be able to work that out. I do think that Michael Wilson should probably be the wide receiver 1. I feel like every time between last season and this season that I've seen Michael Wilson step out there on the field, he's gone out there, he's gotten the points, he's done it for fantasy managers. He's been a guy that Arizona's been able to rely on, and fantasy managers have been able to rely on. The numbers have also gone out and shown and proved he's consistent with the hands. I have not seen as inconsistent of a stretch of games like that from MHJ in the NFL. I feel like with MHJ, I more so have flashes. Yeah, Marvin Harrison Jr. hates chemistry. Yeah, it's I don't know what it is, but if I'm the Arizona Cardinals, I'm looking at the game plan heading into next year. I'm like, you know what? Maybe this is the guy that I need to start making the focal point. I don't give a fuck that your last name is Harrison Jr. This person is in here putting in the work and they're being consistent on the field. They're putting up 100+ yard games. We brought you in here to do that, and it's this is the NFL. Your name don't it ain't going. You have to go actually go out there. You got to put in the work. You know, you got to be wanting to do the work. You know, you got to be wanting to be great. You know,
you got to store it.
Wow, there were so many other examples, but I mean, yeah, you know, so I mean, when I look at the Arizona wide receiver room, it just looks like that Michael Wilson has done the extra work, whether it's, you know, Ben Jacoby or Kyler tossing the rock. He's done the extra work to be effective in games and to pop up in big moments, you know, for this offense. And I just think that he's done it more times than their number one draft pick from last year.
Looking like a bust.
I mean, I'm not going to say bust, but I mean, hey,
yeah,
like,
no, this is a bust. This is a bust. They were talking about he's going to be the best wide receiver in the class. He's not even the best wide receiver in the first round.
You know, so still not gonna call him a bust. I just think that you know, they need to. I also think that they need to move on from Kyler Murray. Arizona has a lot of things they need to do. But yeah. Other than that, any last words?
No, I'm Gucci.
Yeah, man. Ready to roll in to the week. I don't really have to do too much crazy with waivers with my teams. Just because it's like me in playoffs, baby. It's time to rock. It's time to throw them hammers. I might go out there and just as like a charity pickup, like as like a morality pickup. I might go out there and see about grabbing Shador and stashing him on a bench, or maybe see about grabbing Phillip Rivers and stashing him on a bench. Just be like, those guys were part of the team to the championship run.
I mean, if you had to pick one, like, we know who you got to pick.
It would probably be Shador.
Absolutely.
I'd probably grab. Yeah. Just be like, yeah, he was on a championship team. He rode the bench. He rode the bench, but he was part of a ring.
Yeah, you know what?
I feel like getting Rivers in 2025 though is just so much more of a meme.
Well, you know, it's crazy. It's more than likely this kid is going to put up QB1 numbers for the fantasy playoffs, because that's the kind of season that we've had.
I mean, we have had one of the more tumultuous seasons. I mean, the remaining of their schedule is Chicago, Buffalo, Pittsburgh, Cincinnati. I mean, those are going to be some tough games. So,
yeah,
who knows? I don't know. I feel like having Grandpa Rivers though, that'd be a dope ass meme. Mr. No Pullout. That motherfucker has 13 kids.
Yeah. You don't play about his
13 kids.
You don't play.
We out of here. Cheers to me. Cheers to you, all the Rum Boys and girls. What to do? Dilly dilly. This has been Goal Line Goons. I'm tired as fuck after having that 24-hour freaking stomach bug yesterday. Peace.
Jesus.
Yeah.